I've been thinking about something recently. Maybe it's just me noticing it more as I get older. But honestly, when did everyone become so tired? I don't mean tired in the normal sense, not the kind of tired we've had a long day at work and just need a good sleep. I mean something deeper. Kind of tired. It seems to live inside people now. Sometimes I look around, see people functioning, going to work, raising families, doing shopping, paying bills, doing everything society expects them to do. But I'm not convinced many people are actually feeling well anymore. It's like everybody is permanently exhausted. And what interests me is we somehow accepted this as normal. People joke about being tired now. People laugh about surviving on coffee. We wear exhaustion almost like a badge of honor. And I sometimes wonder, how did we get here? Because if you really stop and think about it, human beings have never had more convenience. Life is easier than it's ever been. There's technology everywhere, comfort everywhere, access to almost everything instantly, and yet people seem more mentally drained than ever before. I think somewhere along the way, we stopped asking a very important question. Is this the way we live in? Is it actually making us well? Or are we slowly accepting a version of life that quietly leaves us exhausted all the time? Because honestly, I don't think feeling permanently tired was ever supposed to become normal. Something else I've noticed, I'm guilty of this too sometimes, the modern life never really stops anymore. There's always something demanding attention. The phones, messages arriving, emails, social media, news updates, notifications every few minutes. What's strange is we've adapted to it so completely. We rarely question what constant stimulation might actually be doing to us. Think about how people used to live. When the evening came, the day gradually slowed down. There was quiet, there was space. The mind had time to settle, but now most people carry the entire world in their pocket. And the brain never really gets a break. Even lying in bed, people are looking at the phones, reading more information, watching videos, jumping from one distraction to another. And I wonder sometimes whether part of the reason people feel so exhausted now is because the mind never gets true rest anymore. Not physical rest, but mental rest. Because even when the body stops moving, the brain keeps working, constantly processing, constantly reacting. Maybe one of the strangest things about modern life is that we're connected to everything, yet somehow we seem less connected to ourselves than ever before. I think sleep is one of the stranger things modern society has started disrespecting. And I say strange, because sleep might be one of the most important things we do. But look at how people talk about it now. 4 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep, late nights, early mornings, busy lifestyle, and constant caffeine. Somewhere along the way, sleep stopped being treated as something essential, becomes negotiable, something we sacrifice when life gets busy. I think people underestimate just how much poor sleep quality affects everything: mood, hormones, stress levels, recovery, energy, patience, even hunger. Changes more than people realize. And yet, how many people wake up every single morning feeling genuinely rested? Guess not many. And I think what concerns me is people started living in a constant state of low energy for so long. Eventually, it feels normal. You forget what feeling truly good even felt like. Maybe part of modern exhaustion isn't complicated at all. Maybe millions of people simply haven't given the body proper recovery for years, and slowly that catches up with us. Sometimes I wonder if our brains are trying to deal with more information now. More than human beings were ever designed to process anyway. Think about the normal day. You wake up and you check your phone. Your messages, news, politics, war, financial worries, social media, advertising, arguments online, endless opinions, negative headlines, bad news from every corner of the world, and all of this before breakfast. I genuinely wonder how much of modern anxiety is simply the result of information overload. Because for most of human history, people only dealt with the world immediately around them, the family, the community, their immediate challenges. And now we absorb problems happening thousands of miles away every single day. I think people underestimate how draining that becomes. The nervous system never gets peace. The mind never settles. There's always something demanding emotional energy. And perhaps we weren't designed to carry this much. Sometimes I think people don't need more stimulation. They just need silence. This is also something I've noticed about myself too. Maybe you recognize it. We've become incredibly uncomfortable doing absolutely nothing. And think about it. How often do people sit quietly now, without needing entertainment, without checking their phone, without distraction? It almost feels unnatural now. That's fascinating. Because I think human beings used to spend enormous amounts of time simply existing, walking, thinking, being present, and watching the world quietly. And now, silence feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels strange. We've trained ourselves to constantly seek stimulation, constantly fill in every quiet moment. And I wonder sometimes, the part of modern exhaustion comes from this inability to simply stop, not physically stop, but mentally, allowing the nervous system to breathe, allowing the mind to settle. Because I think many people aren't just physically tired. I think people are overstimulated. Perhaps the body is quietly asking for something simple. Less noise, less information, and less distraction, and a little more peace. You know, the older I get, 57 now, the more I realize something. I don't think human beings were designed for the pace of modern life. Everything moves fast now. It's too fast. People rush constantly, always busy, always productive, and always connected, always chasing something. I think somewhere along the way, we started confusing movement with progress. Just because life feels busy doesn't necessarily mean life feels good. Maybe this is why so many people feel exhausted now. It's not because they're weak, not because something is wrong with them, but because modern life quietly pushes people into lifestyles that constantly drain them. Perhaps, instead of always looking for solutions, we need to ask better questions. Maybe life doesn't need to move this fast. Maybe health begins slowing down, walking more, sleeping properly, putting the phone down more often, being outside more, giving the nervous system time to recover, doing less, breathing more, maybe feeling permanently tired isn't something we should simply accept. Maybe it's the body quietly telling us something important. So maybe the question was never, why am I so tired? Maybe the better question is, why have I accepted living this way for so long? And maybe changing that answer changes everything.